Who is Zatanna?
Magic as easy as 1, 2, 3!
She first appeared in Hawkman number 4. Our story begins in San Francisco. Zatanna was raised by her father, John Zatara. John was a world-famous magician and hoped to one day perform alongside his daughter. Together, they lived in a great mansion that had a mysterious legacy. It was known as Shadow Crest. She never knew her mother, because she had died in a car accident shortly after Zatanna's birth. As Zatanna grew older, her father began to teach her the ways of a stage magician. He would train her endlessly to perfect these stage illusions, including the ability to escape death-defying traps. Occasionally she would spend time with her cousin Zatanna Zatara, who was also trained by her father to perform. Once she had a good understanding of practical stage magic, her father then introduced her to the real mystic arts. Zatanna was trained in many forms of the mystic arts, most notably, how to incant spells by speaking backward. John traveled the world with his daughter and taught her to harness her magical abilities. Outside of her life at home, Zatanna would sometimes accompany one of her closest friends, a young boy named Bruce Wayne. One evening, Zatanna and Bruce were exploring her family's mansion and they discovered something very unusual. Then her father rushes into the room and explains that this object is actually one of the most dangerous weapons in the world, and it is known as the Gnosis Sphere. John explains to the children that this sphere was something that their family has kept hidden for years. Then John suddenly erases Bruce's memory of what he just saw. Zatanna was completely shocked by this and was told to have Bruce sent home. Once Zatanna reached her teenage years, she had become ready to perform magic in front of an audience.
Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience.
Their performances would mainly consist of practical magic, but occasionally they used real magic. They would perform magic shows together around the world and started to become famous. As they continued their performances, Zatanna's magic was becoming too powerful to control. There were several times when Zatanna's simple magic tricks went terribly wrong. Sometime later, Zatanna discovered that her father was missing without notice. Zatanna endlessly searched for her father, and eventually stumbled into their library. It was then that she discovered some very surprising information about her parents. She learned more about her father's legacy as a powerful sorcerer and about her mother, Cinderella. Cinderella was actually part of a mystical race of beings known as the Homo Magi. The Homo Magi had a great legacy of natural mystical powers and had disappeared ages ago. Zatanna continued her new profession as a stage magician, and in her spare time, she continued to search for her father. Years later, she came into contact with other heroes from the Justice League, and the League agreed to help find her father. On their quest, they soon realized that her father had been banished to another dimension. After an intense battle in a different dimension, Zatanna was finally reunited with her father. Her father soon explained to Zatanna that her mother had not actually died, and that her death was fate. Cinderella had returned to live amongst the Homo Magi, and he had kept this secret from her since she was a child. Her mother remained in a hidden city ruled by an extremist group of Homo Magi, known as the Hidden Ones. Sometime later, Zatanna received a vision from her mother, who explained that she needed help. The Hidden Ones had turned on her and began to absorb her magical power. Cinderella feared that they would soon do the same to her family, so she contacted Zatanna telepathically. After Zatanna received her cry for help, she planned to save her mother. Zatanna was accompanied by her father and the Justice League as they came to Cinderella's aid. When they arrived, they were suddenly attacked by the Hidden Ones. Once they find Cinderella, she reveals that this hidden city was being powered from a jewel in her mind. Just as the League is almost defeated, Cinderella sacrifices herself in order to save her family. Zatanna finally got to meet her mother, but it came at a great cost. After these events, Zatanna continued to perform magic shows with her father. She would occasionally be asked to help out her friends in the Justice League for mystical-related assistance. Zatanna soon discovered Batman's secret identity as her childhood friend Bruce Wayne, and also helped him whenever he was in need of mystical help.
But enough about my secrets. What have you been up to? I haven't seen you in so long.
Her adventures in the supernatural world soon brought her into contact with an infamous sorcerer, John Constantine. The two had an instant attraction for each other and quickly entered into an intimate relationship. Sometime later, Zatanna would face her greatest tragedy. An ancient force had been awoken that was known as the Great Darkness. Zatanna was invited to stop this threat with a team of other mystical specialists such as her father, Constantine, Sargon, Swamp Thing, and more. This caused some of them to fight off violent spirits inside hell itself, and they were losing the battle. Constantine decides to conduct a ritual to tap into the spirit world with the remaining members as a last-ditch effort. The ritual quickly became unstable, but allowed those in hell more time to fight off these demons. Then John Zatara and Sargon were violently killed during this ritual. They were ultimately able to put an end to the threat of the Great Darkness, but Zatanna would never forgive Constantine for the death of her father. Sometime later, Zatanna would take on much more responsibility as a hero. She played a major role in the event known as Identity Crisis. During these events, it was revealed that Dr. Light had raped the wife of the elongated man. The League was able to capture Dr. Light before he could escape. Zatanna then suggested a very controversial idea to wipe the memory of his crime. While she received some support for this idea, most of the League considered this morally wrong. After a heated debate, the team decides to proceed and erase Dr. Light's memory. Just as Zatanna begins this process, Batman rushes into the tower in a rage. Batman begins to speak of his disapproval, then Zatanna suddenly freezes him in place and erases his memory of this moment. Batman would eventually find out about Zatanna erasing his memory, and this would cause a serious rift in their long-time friendship. While this is considered one of her most controversial moments, it would not be her last. Zatanna was also responsible for erasing and altering the memories of Catwoman. She altered Catwoman's memories and motives that ultimately made her believe that she wasn't a criminal, but a hero. Catwoman would eventually learn of this and in return, almost killed Zatanna. Her controversial decisions caused some distrust among the Justice League, and Zatanna felt a great deal of guilt. Sometime later, she retired from her days as a hero and continues to maintain her family home of Shadowcrest. While Shadowcrest can move to different locations on its own, and even drift into different dimensions at times, she is mostly known to reside in San Francisco. Nowadays, Zatanna continues her life as a famous stage magician. In her spare time, she helps people with any mystic or occult-related trouble. Zatanna would eventually rekindle her relationships with Constantine and Batman. After the universe-altering events of Flashpoint, Zatanna's assistance would be required more than ever. A team of supernatural heroes had been assembled to fight mystical threats that other heroes couldn't handle. This team was known as Justice League Dark. Mastering the mystic arts, occultism, and illusions, combined with her magical ancestry, her powerful spells are only limited to her imagination, which makes Zatanna one of the most powerful sorcerers in the world. Please like this video and subscribe for more unknown comic origins.